Hello, hello. Um, it's been quite a while since I've actually played Final Fantasy. It's gone to the point where I'm 2 patches behind, so we're gonna do a lot of catch up now. So this is patch 7.3. I don't quite remember what was going on. I think we had, oh my gosh, I can't remember that guy's name. The guy who electrocuted us on the middle of Solution 9. And we had a fake Sphene as well. I'm not quite sure what happened. I don't quite remember. So this will be interesting. You have a moment, Tulky. Geode wants to take stock of the current crisis. Oblivion may be lagging the finer details in certain areas, so we'd like you to lend your perspective to the conversation. I don't remember anything. It might not be a good idea. I don't remember anything. Sorry to drag you into our meeting, but we need to get a better handle on the threats Alexandria is facing right now. Not at all. Much has happened since the state funeral, and a clearer idea of where things stand would be beneficial for us as well. First things first, then. Let's discuss the state of the machine malfunctions. Every single sector reported instances of sentries attacking citizens without provocation, and vehicles suddenly becoming unresponsive to controls. Right, they did do that. They hacked into the King's army. I did forget about that. And while these malfunctions were resolved fairly quickly, they nevertheless resulted in a considerable number of injuries and deaths. But you haven't heard anything about new incidents since then, right? Right. No additional reports have been logged, as far as I know. That's the good news. The bad news is, I tried to take control of the soldiers when they started hurting people, but they wouldn't listen to me, even though I have the king's authority. Once things calmed down, I was finally able to make them give up their weapons. But if it happens again, I don't know if they'll ignore me like before. Clearly they hacked into the soldiers, not that they don't listen, it's just someone with higher authority took over. The King of Resolve's authority is about the highest there is. Who is this man that can override it with such impunity? Helix. He lived in the age of the Storm Surge, as I did. That's his name. Lest you forget, he was known for his advancements in electro-technology, and it was he who established preservation for the purpose of furthering his research. The wasting disease which afflicted him, however, was said to leave him scanty years left to live. He must have chosen to undergo conversion into an endless, that he might continue his efforts into the present day. Preservation's early goals seemed noble enough. Exploring treatments for leavened sickness, designing Everkeep's core system, that sort of thing. Why harm the people he was ostensibly trying to help? I do not pretend to fully understand Calix's motivations, only that he appeared incensed by what he saw as mankind's failings. He asserted that the strategy of adapting our species through generational success was outdated. That evolution now requires us to forsake bodies of flesh in favor of eternal preservation. We've already seen how he's employed simulant to convince Alexandrians that endless conversion is their only hope for survival. Eternal life is assured for the 5,000 who registered their neo-regulators. this is merely one part of Calyx's greater plan. He wants the key to the interdimensional fusion. With that relic in his possession, he will draw aether from the reflections and expand his efforts to create endless 1,000-fold. If we mean to foil Calyx's... Calyx? I'm just gonna keep saying Calyx. I don't quite remember. Maybe it's Calyx. Schemes, then our only option is to determine where he's hiding and put him down. Which unfortunately is easier said than done. I've been scouring the terminal we found in the depths of the Everkeep, but I failed to uncover even the slightest trace of his activities. Give me a little more time, though, and I'm sure I can sniff him out. I'll help you. While Galulja and Shale are working on that, I think I'm going to take a look around town. I want to make sure no new problems have cropped up, as well as search for any information that might lead us to Calyx. You're welcome to come along. Another malfunction can happen at any time, and I'd be glad to have some brawlers at my back. Count me in. Raha and the others are helping Oblivion patrol the other levels of the keep. Or shall we stick to the streets of Solution 9? Sounds like a plan. Thanks, you two. I appreciate the company. I have to speak with the city's administrators about bringing in the Lands Guard. I want our soldiers around to protect those who are moving to Tuliolal. Alphino and Alizé will be joining me for the meeting, so the three of us can cover that sector as soon as we're done. If I may, I'd like to join Tulky's group, if you'll have me. The more mouths to ask questions, the merrier, as long as you're aware of the dangers. Thank you. I'll do my best not to be a burden. I'm more worried about you, Geode. Don't do anything stupid. You'll change your tone once we get back with the goods on Calyx. Then the drinks are on you. Come on, let's continue this outside. Yes, now I kind of remember. He did have control of the soldiers and the vehicles and caused a lot of pandemonium. And then made people afraid of their lives once more. Rather than and make it more favorable to being endless. They don't die. I kind of remember that. I'll do my utmost to ensure the happiness of Alexandria and its people. The city looks as though it's regained a sense of normalcy. Alas, the people will not soon forget recent events. Sorry, I was off in my own little world. Shall we get started? Are you alright, Geode? Me? I'm well enough, given the circumstances. It was the Queen's fondest wish that her subjects remain shielded from the horrors of death. And so they were for the longest time. Then, the moment mortality once again became an unavoidable fact of life, they're greeted with an outbreak of bloody violence. Many are bound to give the endless alternative serious consideration. Indeed, and I do not blame them for that. It is only natural that such thoughts should come to mind. What I cannot forgive is the way Calyx wields fear and misery to manipulate people into making that choice. No one, not Calyx, nor anyone else, should dictate how we cope with the specter of death. As one who lived as an Alexandrian, I wish to put the choices of this country's future back into the hands of its citizens. And you think we can handle that responsibility? After everything you've seen of us? It is what I have seen that has convinced me you can. I awoke 4 centuries later to find our people living and laughing beneath Alexandria's banner. Though surprised and bewildered, I was overjoyed to see it so. You all deserve to be happy. Well then. We best not let you down. Now, I suggest we move as a group. We don't know if or when a battle might find us. Oh, I believe someone came prepared for just such an eventuality. Is that Grimoire? Grimoire? You retrieved from the old castle. I actually didn't even notice that. Yes, my parents gifted it to me when I was a child. They were adamant that I should learn to protect the things important to me. I was fortunate enough to have a tutor in arcane arts, so I lay claim to some small measure of skill. If that's the case, it might be better if we split into 2 groups after all. It would be certainly more efficient for information gathering. I guess that makes sense. The 2 of you can take the west side of the recreation zone then. Tulky and I will take the east. Very well. We shall end our patrol in the plaza just past your true view, and await you there. I didn't even notice the book. If Crowell didn't point it out, I don't think I would ever notice that book. Let's do the rounds then. We'll see what's what and chat to the people we meet along the way. Pay special attention to anyone who looks overwhelmed or excited. Hopefully that will earn us a tidbit or 2 we didn't know before. A somber citizen. Are the sentries and air wheelers safe to be around now? I just know it's gonna happen again, and maybe next time I'll be the one who dies in horrible accidents. I need a neon regulator. Becoming endless is the only way. Even Queen's Fiend said so. The memories. I used to drink around here all the time. I made sure not to overdo it when I had work the next day, but once we were past the busy season, or when the ladies weren't amenable to my company, well, you'd have to scrape me off the streets outside in the morning. Or afternoon. The worst I ever got was on what should have been the worst day of my life. If only I could remember it. I was still wearing a regulator back then. It was also the day I first met Shale, although I guarantee she's forgotten it completely. Not sure about that one. You want to hear my story? Well, I appreciate you offering a sympathetic ear. There's not much to tell. If you must know, a good friend of mine died when those machines went crazy. His air wheeler dropped right out of the sky, and he didn't survive the crash. Damn fool wasn't wearing a regulator. I know that's not so strange these days, but he never bothered with one. He was at peace with the idea of dying someday, and I thought I understood what that meant, until it happened. It is hard to understand if you don't know what death is like. I don't completely blame him. What has me in such a fine mood, you ask? Well, I've registered my new regulator. I was leery of becoming nothing but memories at first, but now that I've gone through the registration, I never felt more at ease. Also, once it was done, the regulator displayed the current numbers. Of the 5,000 slots available, over 3,800 have already been filled. If you're still hesitant, you've not much time to make your mind up. Mark my words, friends. When there's only a few slots left, it's going to get very ugly. Tulky, a word. I feel like there was a new factor in these stores we've heard. One we hadn't considered during our discussion with everyone in the back room. The fights are likely to break out over the neo-regulators. The fact that nearly 4,000 people have registered is worthy of its own reports. Are you sure there wasn't anything else? The victim of violence wasn't regulators? Yes, that's it. The vast majority of residents have always worn regulators, so it's not a detail we normally think about. With the supply of souls cut off, though, more and more people have been going without them. We need to look into the casualties from the recent attacks, and check whether or not they were equipped with regulators. Let's ask around on the street to the east. It was pretty chaotic at the time, but maybe we'll find eyewitnesses who can help us confirm if this was a pattern or not. I never considered that, actually. He's right, though. If they did target people with regulators, it makes their case better. Saying, hey, look who died, it was people without regulators. But, never considered that one. It was once my job to deliver goods by hover cargo. That's why I know a fair number of names and faces throughout the city. The little ones who jumped for joy when I brought them packages. The old lady who'd always greet me with a smile. I hate for anything bad happened to them. So he was an Amazon delivery guy? Amazon Prime? Hello, how are you today? Please let me know if I may be of service. Citywide casualty data unavailable. Government officials are currently processing reports from all affected zones. Can you narrow it down to the recreation zone then? You must have some estimates on hand. Recalibrating parameters. Injured, 87 individuals. Casualties, 19 individuals. Casualty equipped with regulators, 0. Well. You wish to know if the people who died in the machine rampage were wearing regulators. I'm sorry, but I was assigned to clearing away debris. I didn't see any of the deceased. No bodies were present by the time I arrived, so I assumed the ushers had already done their work. I do remember there being patches of white dust scattered about that were quite a chore to clean up, but nothing else worthy of mention. Okay, I think it's time we rejoined Kryle and Sven. I was half joking with my boast to Shale, but we may have stumbled upon something major here. We should share our findings and keep pursuing this avenue of inquiry. Didn't Kryle say to meet them in the plaza just outside True. Let's get going. Where? Oh. 4. I never remember, like, the names of it. And you have to zoom pretty far in to actually read the name of it. It's also been a bit too long that I actually just don't remember a lot of stuff. But it is what it is. That's what quest markers are for. We finished our patrol as well. It did not seem that more people wanted neo-regulators than before. Oh, makes sense. We talked about that one. So essentially, you're saying that the people who were killed by malfunctioning machines weren't wearing regulators. Well, the numbers are still tentative, and only apply to that one zone. We don't know how they'll stack up against the overall data, but this is definitely more than a coincidence. I think it's safe to say that anyone who had removed their regulator was a priority target. Now that you mention it, the person I was treating for injuries wasn't wearing one either. But why? Why are they being targeted over everyone else? Based solely on the lack of neo-regulator, we cannot judge if a person has no desire to become endless, or if they simply fail to acquire one of the limited devices, but those who wear no regulator at all. They've clearly rejected the old system of using souls to revive themselves. Put another way, they've chosen to live their lives in the knowledge that death is an inevitability. The chances that such resolute people wish to become endless are far lower, I would imagine. And so Calyx has chosen those least likely to accept his vision as victims to stoke fear and panic. But there is no need to kill anyone. With the way things were, the people were already fearful enough. You could have found 5,000 willing citizens fought all this madness. You make a good point. Perhaps this sowing of terror is in service to another scheme, or he had other needs for the lives he's taken. What if dust found at various sites? Right, the sanitation worker's story. She saw no bodies but mentioned piles of white dust. Dust, but no bodies. Now where have I heard that before? You recall when we met to save Erinville from the sentries in the outskirts? That Sir Malachite told us much of the same thing. When I arrived, I found no body, only a pile of dust, which the wind quickly scattered. Confused, I questioned the residents, but none knew what had become of it. That both stories speak of missing remains is suspicious enough, but the shared mention of this dust is too much to ignore. In that case, we should confirm if this substance was present at other sites, and attempt to ascertain its nature. Following this thread may lead us not only to an explanation for the missing bodies, but also the intent behind Calyx's murderous actions. Tulky, we need your help. I've lost control of the soldiers in the residential area. They might be trying to hurt people again. Oblivion members are on their way now, but are you close enough to join them? Damn it. Our new investigation will have to wait. Let's go. How did they get disarmed? How are they fighting things again? Oh, they're using their hands.
What happened here?
How did none of them realize that's Fiend?
A sentry walked into my apartment, even though I'd locked the door and everything. I managed to run, but the man tried to save me.
No weapons, which is to be expected, considering all the sentries were meant to be disarmed.
Yeah, they just use their hands.
Yet it was ordered to attack all the same, even if that meant using its bare hands.
I'll leave matters here to you. I'm going to do a sweep of the surrounding area.
No regulator again.
Do you know anyone else in this sector who no longer wears a regulator?
Oh, I don't think I've seen Isadora and her boy with theirs recently.
Go to them, quickly!
Uh-oh.
I'll be fine. But Isadora's in bad shape. Mother! Mother, please!
Isadora! Oh, thank goodness. She wasn't struck anywhere vital.
I'm sorry. If only I'd gotten here sooner.
Everything will be all right. I promise to make your mother better.
Thank you, miss.
But he's the only one that can see her speak. Like, they clearly see her face.
Will she sleep like that forever?
No, not forever. She'll wake soon, I'm sure of it.
That's good to hear. Thank you for saving her.
The promise of tomorrow. As a patch cycle's name. She should recover in due course. I'm glad we arrived when we did. When I was sick and couldn't move, my mother was always at my side, always keeping me company, and I'm going to do the same for her. Forgive me, I was reckless. She didn't have to waste time tending my wounds as well. Did you see our other comrades back there? He stayed behind in the lobby, but I heard sounds of fighting. I'm sorry. He must have fallen protecting that residence. Our comrade. You think he may have been struck down? If he is wounded or worse, I should go to him. Wait, please. It isn't safe and you still need to rest. Would you stay with Milos and watch over Isadora for me? We will attend to your friend. Aye. Thank you. Please be careful yourself. Why is this happening? That man, he... awful. Does. Isadora is gonna be alright then. I'm so glad. I just finished my ministrations here. Our beloved comrade was beyond saving, right? That brave soul, he gave his life to save another. He died protecting me. I don't understand why any of this is happening. That sentry was behaving normally, like any other. Then all of a sudden, it tried to kill me. Weapons or no, Helix commanded them to commit murder. Is it over? We came as soon as... I can't pronounce that name. Wayakawe sent word. I'm sorry. By the time we arrived, it was already too late. Then Geode could be in trouble too. Once we have this radius locked down, we need to find him. Why? Has something happened? Possibly. We're not sure what, but he stopped responding to our communications. We need to prioritize securing the residential sector, though, at least until we regain control over the sentry. Then we should search for Geode. I agree. Since most Oblivion members have sworn off regulators, if our theory holds true, then they could be prime targets for our next attack. Please do what you can to shepherd the residents to safety, but avoid sentries at all costs. Our thanks. Here, take these communicators. We've made modifications to them to prevent Calyx from intercepting the signal. We've been using them to coordinate movements with allies in the vicinity. Wayakawe has one too, so I'll ask her to keep hailing Geode. Good luck and stay safe. I hope that's how you pronounce it. Can't remember. Geode said he would sweep the surrounding area, so he shouldn't have ventured too far. Let's get going. Like, I just heard the name, and I still just do not remember. Difficult name. Like, I can't be blamed for that one. Please, Geode, please be safe. I don't see him, Captain. You see no sign of Geode. Perhaps you should search further to the east. Let's search around the apartments first. You see no sign of Geode. Wayakue's voice crackles forth from the communicator. Geode, Geode, answer me. There's no response. Perhaps you should continue your search further to the east. That would be very, very ominous foreshadowing if he did die. But Shade said he was worried. She was worried about him. That would be a very, very big foreshadowing, I guess. You see no sign of Geode. The neighboring residential radius would be the next logical place to look. Well, he's still alive.
This is the only place left. Let them be safe.
Geode, are you there? Answer me, please!
I'm here. Sorry for the long silence. I've been busy.
Oh, you're alive! Thank the gods! Where are you now?
The radius next door. The lobby is secure. I'll scout the second floor. Then I'll join it. Dust.
Dust? What are you talking about? What's happening?
That's why the dust
They're
happened.
not just collecting souls. They're draining the bodies of corporeal ether. The dust that we saw was all that was left of the victims. They must have modified the soul cells. Shit. Can't be here! You need to run, now!
What the hell?
A trap!
They can morph? That's crazy.
Take care of the others, eh?
No sign of him so far. This way, maybe?
Geode!
A shame. I had hoped to leave here with at least one more cell's worth of ether. But seeing how eager you are to interfere, I shall cut this foray short.
Calyx. What could you possibly stand to gain from these atrocities?
Ether sufficient to generate 5,000 endless. How would you require it?
How would I?
Until I have the key, the reflections are closed to me. Thus do I make do with the sources at hand. 7% of Alexandria's current population will yield the energy to convert 5,000 into endless. With 11%, operations could continue unabated for 800 years. Our bodies are fated to decay sooner or later. These ones refuse the gift of eternal life, so what difference does it make if I return them to ether now? I will not waste time and resources on meaningless conflict. This unit cannot offer you worthwhile resistance. Instead, I pose a question. Would you hand over the key if I promise to halt my harvest?
I'll halt your harvest by defeating.
It was foolish of me to even ask. I return to my work then. There is much to do if I must take the key by force.
I can't. There are no words. This pile of dust, these ashes, and the soul cell he left behind, was that his twisted way of returning Geode? Damn you, Calyx. Damn you and your careless cruelty. He was our friend. Even so, some might say every death was justified, if it meant 5,000 endless could continue their immortal lives. And if a reflection's stolen aether allowed for many more endless, why that too would be a noble sacrifice for the greater good. Who could think that? Not I. Certainly not I. We know only too well there is naught noble in this sacrifice. We have to stop him. We have to find Calyx and put an end to this madness as soon as possible. And under no circumstances can we let this key fall into his possession, Tulky. It falls to us. We will thwart his plans here in Alexandria before he can terrorize innocents and reflections elsewhere. I will hold on to Geo's gun. If you could take the soul cell, please. We should return to the back room. Kale and the others need to know what happened. Yes, Alice. Ayakwe? You meet us there as well. I still can't pronounce that name. The name is too difficult.
Our dear Geode. The soldiers. If only I'd been able to control them.
This isn't your fault, Gololja. The blame lies with Calix, and with him alone. It's all so senseless. Why force his plans upon us when we're already happy, living our lives? What does he even think life is? I'll never forgive Calix for doing this. Or myself for being powerless to stop him. Wait, where are you going? To clear my head. Don't worry, I won't do anything stupid.
Stay here and get some rest. I'll make sure nostalgia stays out of trouble.
Thank you.
Things would have been far worse if you and Geode hadn't rushed in there. Many people are still alive because of you. And after adding what you discovered to the leads we've dug up, I'm hopeful we can determine where Calix is hiding. But not right now. We need time before we can move on. Just a little time.
Oh, Geode.
They brought back Geode's gun. Its rounds were spent and its barrel was scorched. You can be sure he went down fine. I've spoken with Wu Klamat. They've cut their meeting short to deal with the aftermath of his latest violence. I assume you know better by now, but I hope you're not planning to try anything alone. We're all here with you. got back control of the sentries, probably around the same time Calyx left. I'm sorry I couldn't stop him. We made a swift patrol of the other levels and confirmed that Calyx had carried out a number of targeted attacks, all to harvest more Aether, it seems. I'm told that the member tasked with keeping residents safe returned with their body of their comrade. They all risk so much. Another comrade gone. Some days it's almost more than I can bear. Geode was. He was an older brother to Nostalgia and me. Shale knew him longer, though, and is surely taking it the hardest. And that's on top of what happened to Kafkia. Do you think you could check on her? See how she's doing? She's like to put on a brave face if it's me or my sister. Apologies, my mind was elsewhere. We need to press on with the hunt for Calyx, but I can't seem to focus. I should be better than this, I know. Is there anything I can do? You can't help yourself, can you? Still, I appreciate the concern. Kafka used to say the best thing to do with grief was to let it all out. I think I'll take myself over to the eastern sky and say my goodbyes to Geode. Why don't you come along? I could use someone to blubber to if you've a shoulder to spare. Right then, let's get out of Everkeep for a bit. Fair trek on foot to uprange a couple of airwheelers. They've had their communication modules removed, so even Calyx shouldn't be able to seize control of them. Say the word and we'll set off. Ready? We'll fly close to the pylons, so follow my lead. Those airwheelers are Genold's babies. You won't find a smoother ride in all of Everkeep. For years now, I've been taking one out for a turn whenever I need it to lighten my mood. Sometimes Geode would come along too, and we'd end up racing. Does that surprise you? Our friendship always had a competitive edge. We would often talk about how one day we might fly our wheelers outside the dome. We're gonna leave this big of a gap. Why would the text go so fast? The text moves so fast, I can't even read all at once. I just use my chat box at the bottom. Almost there. Be sure that the ground is clear before you touch down. Like, if my text box didn't show it, there's no way I could read all that. That's so fast. Phew. That's helped clear my head a touch. You know, Tulky, you might be the first person I've ridden with who wasn't an outliving recruit. As far as I remember, at least. The memories from our regular days aren't exactly reliable. Come on, let's head inside. Hopefully the way will be clear of pests today. Looks like there's pass, judging by the quest. It is what it is. It's probably overkill. Thanks. We can usually avoid such encounters, but sometimes they wander in and block the only path. Not that it slowed you down at all. I've never seen you fight up close before, and the surveillance feed clearly didn't do it justice. Hopefully that keeps the route clear for a while, shall we? Yes, that's true. Shell only looked via surveillance.
Whenever we lost a comrade, the three of us would come back here to reminisce. Me, Geode, and Kafkiwa. Will you raise a glass?
Geode's memory.
Oh! What are the two of you doing here?
I had a feeling you'd show up. Would you like to join us?
Oh, my cat is showing my table.
I suppose I could spare a moment.
Oh.
They tell us Oblivion's founders disappeared some decades ago under mysterious circumstances. And it was Kafkiwa who revived our organization.
My cat's all over my desk.
You and Geode helped her with that, didn't you? Tell us more about it. You're keen to know too, right? What they were like back then. The mad things they got up to. That sort of thing.
Yeah. Tell me everything.
Those were the days. It was actually right before the Reformation that I met Geode. I still wore a regulator then. I'd recently lost someone close to me. I'd also quit a long stint as an adapter to work at a bar of all places. It paid me to sit with patrons and keep them company. So Geode came in one night. It wasn't long before we got into an argument. First time customer, but tempers flared. And then one of us threw a punch.
You got into a fist fight? What were you even arguing about?
Damned if I know. We were deep in our cups. I think we were both just frustrated and angry at everything. By the end of it, we were both sprawled out in the street. Pair of drunken fools. Then this odd machine stopped to lecture us, scolding us for obstructing the foot traffic and not taking better care of ourselves.
I can't imagine you ever being in such a sorry state. The odd machine, that was Kafkiwa, I take it.
That it was. Once she was done upbraiding us for our unseemly behavior, she launched into a recruitment pitch. Kafkiwa explained that she wanted to protect the outside world from Zoralja's invasion, to keep him from bringing ruin to the place her beloved son lived. And if we were so intent on self-destruction, then perhaps we might consider risking our hides for a just cause.
What a recruitment pitch.
It was a lot to take in. I hadn't given much thought to what lay beyond the barrier, and learning that Kafkiwa herself was already dead was enough to make my head spin. But Geode and I were intrigued by her ideas, and wanted to see this future of hers come to pass.
Geode often spoke of it. He told me that meeting Kafkiwa was what first taught him the value of remembering people.
Like he was sharing a holy revelation.
Oh, but back then you hadn't yet taken on Oblivion's name, had you?
Is that so? I just assumed.
It hadn't been Kafkiwa's intention to carry on Oblivion's legacy, nor adopt the cause your parents championed. Not initially, at least. She wasn't even aware such an organized resistance existed. She did, however, suspect the presence of other dissidents, those who objected to resurrecting the memories of the dead in defiance of the natural order. In the hopes of identifying like-minded comrades, we began searching the core system for traces of unauthorized access. And that's how we found it. An anomalous sector in the back of the Neon Stein. According to Melancholy, the door to that mystery had remained firmly shut since she took over the business.
The back room.
The back room. We forced our way in, only to discover that the hideout had long been abandoned. Although the occupants were gone, the equipment they'd left behind contained records of a group calling itself Oblivion. After reading through their exploits and their vision for the future, we made the decision to carry on their work.
Thus were my parents' and Kafkiwa's hopes bound together.
And carried onward by Shale and Geode.
We could never have made it this far on our own, of course. Not without the strength of arms you and your friends provided. Losing comrades is a hard thing, but being here, thinking back on the moments we shared, I can see their smiles, hear their laughter. I feel their presence, and I know they're still with us. But these memories of mine are for me alone. Reminders of why I chose to do this. And why I'll stay the course. Right. Time we got back to work. Thank you, everyone.
No, it's me who should be thanking you. Though the pain is still deep, I don't feel like I'm drowning in it anymore. Let's get out there and put a stop to Calyx. For you, for me, and for everyone who's ever believed in Oblivion.
Shale is a very strong character. Taking loss in that way. Very admirable at taking a loss. I appreciate you helping me through this. And not only the grief, you've helped me see that my comrades mean even more to me than I realized. Which only fuels my determination. I'll be spending every waking moment working to bring Calyx to account for his crimes. I'll do my part, and you do yours. Or will be need to. It's time I went back to locating Calyx's lair. I have a new strategy in mind. It remains to be seen if it will aid in narrowing down the possibilities. I'll ask Carl for help. I want to re-examine the data, starting with that of our parents. After all, they were the first to break away from preservation and establish an organized resistance with Oblivion. There must be something in there that can point us in the right direction. What are your plans, Tulky? Tulky, is that you? Apologies for calling suddenly. I've been making the rounds in the outskirts, and I cannot help but feel as though something is amiss. Might I ask you to join me? Your perspective would be most appreciated. You can wait until you finish attending the Shale Court. It seems your plans have been decided for you. Go on. I have others to speak with before I return to the back room. But yeah, he's a very strong character. Because there's the other aspect of grief where, well, it's an endwalk around, right? Or it's a feeling of like, why bother? What's the feeling, or what's the point of it? And they get overwhelmed by grief. So that is the other aspect. Okay, thank you for comment. As I mentioned, I would benefit from reward the experience. Perhaps it is my imagination, but the townspeople appear to be acting oddly. That is, even considering the current state of affairs. As I am yet unfamiliar with the outskirts, I thought you might be better equipped to judge if their behavior is unusual. Would you speak with them and see what you think? But I hope to be proven wrong. I fear something's not right here. Well, this place is very ominous with its soundtrack. Well, please tell me you brought more Neo-Regulators. Officially. They've all been handed out already. But I've heard rumors there were a few left over. Surely the government still has some. Or perhaps Queen's Fiend. I may not look it, but I was a hunter one. Back then, I hardly gave death a second thought. But now that I know the truth, it's all I can think about. There has to be a way to hold on. Has to. I see. They are very, 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 very scared to death right now. And there's a news saying that Neo-Regulars are gone. Greetings. I remember when you visited with Queen's Fiend. Come to check on our well-being, have you? Well, I can say that things are rather stressful out here as well. Without knowing if or when our machinery might turn murderous, the specter of death is ever present. People are terrified, and a clamor of Neo-Regulators have reached a fever pitch. I, personally, was fortunate to have claimed a new device early on, and have long since completed registration. Death has no hold over me now. Now I must begin my prayers. The darkness draws closer, grows deeper, and we must cast it out. That would explain why some people are very stressed and some aren't. You're not wearing a regulator. Don't you know the end is coming? Well, it's your life to lose. Me, I got myself one of those Neo-Regulators and registered a little while ago. As soon as I did, a display appeared showing the number of registered users. Right now it's sitting at 4,186. Or 68. The upper limit was 5,000, wasn't it? Seems the total shot up right after those machines malfunctioned. It's only a matter of time before everyone's registered. I pity those who weren't chosen, but I'm going to be an endless. I'm going to evolve and live happily ever after. Seems like they don't understand what it takes to be an endless. So what do you think? Was I right to worry? Tensions are running high. Yes, and this is exactly it. The people are overwhelmed by uncertainty and fear, and with each new registration, that fear inside them grows more insistent. How long until it drives them into a full-blown panic? Tulky, can you come to resolution? We have a problem. I'm already here with Lamati and Alphano. It sounds like she wants us there in a hurry. We should go. Sounds like more attacks. Oh. And worse.
What's happened? Sorry to drag you out here, but I thought it best you see for yourself.
Death is your constant companion. Though you toil with diligence, death may come ere your reward is bestowed. Though your grand works be poised for completion, death may come ere you wake the following morn. Though you enjoy a life of peace and good fortune, death needs but one instant to claim you. Your bodies are weak. Your heart, your brain, every fragile organ rolls the dice from moment to moment. Sheer chance deciding if they function or fail. Be you stoic or generous or righteous, no virtues tip the scales in that fatal reckoning. The choice is made without reason. The end is cloaked in terror. That is what it means to die.
The announcement began after we finished our meeting with Gossen. As for its source, well...
Alex.
There is no shame in being afraid. It is that very fear which will drive you to conquer death. Let us set a new course for mankind. Let us preserve our existence unto perpetuity. Hope for it, wish for it, pray for it. We will become endless. With evolution's brilliance, will we banish the ever-present darkness of mortality.
Change isn't easy. No one ever wants to take the first step. But this is the right path for us. What other way could there be? I'm gonna do it. I'm going to register.
Wuklemat! You couldn't have come at a better time. Please, you have to let us move to Tuliyalal.
It's too dangerous to stay here. Who knows when the next century will turn on us? Even if we wanted to become endless, there are no more neo-regulators to be had. Fleeing is our only option.
If the solution was as simple as leaving, then we'd all have left already. Did you not hear the announcement? For the living, death is a foregone conclusion. No matter where we go, or who we shelter with, we won't get another chance like this to overcome our fate.
Easy for you to say when you have that regulator.
Advance Guard are on their way as we speak, and arrangements have been made to see that you all will be safely evacuated. Tulky will aid you in whatever way we can. So please, remain calm.
I want to help Alexandria. I want to save its people. But what can I do? I am not their queen.
My apologies. The sign is not responding to any of our attempts to change the display or switch it off. I'm sorry I couldn't be there in time. Carl told me everything that happened while we were away. We had the hopefuls who descended on Lamati dispersed for now. We could see tempers in the crowd were starting to fray. Their latest wave of attacks may not have been as widespread, but people are reaching their breaking point. We would stop Calyx soon, and soon. First, those deadly malfunctions, and now a citywide announcement. He has spent considerable effort recruiting his 5,000 enlists, perhaps more than necessary even. Calyx has access to the core system, which means that if he chooses to do so, he could deploy the soldiers beyond the barrier. Even if our people learn to live with death and decide to leave the dome behind, they will not be beyond his reach. Yet if it serves to allay their fears even a little, I beg you, Wuklamat, please let them shelter in Tulky. We'll welcome any and all who want to come. We've already begun evacuations, and we'll be able to pick up the pace once the Lion's Guard arrives. In which case, we had best spread out and keep an eye on the crowds. The mood is tense, and we must prepare for possible violence. If you happen to determine where Calyx is hiding, though, we'll be ready to move at a moment's notice. Surely we find a clue of some kind soon. He can't elude us forever. Violence and fear. This is not the future she envisioned for our nation. You give so much of yourselves to aid those in need. I must endeavor to find my own small way to help. Leola will gladly welcome every last Alexandrian with open arms. But what of the nation the late Queen was so desperate to preserve? What of that bright haven of peace and laughter? Wuklamat. I won't stand here and let her legacy be sullied any further. We'll protect Alexandria. That was a promise I made her at the last. But she betrayed you, did she not? Why do you feel this obligation? I saw myself in her, I suppose. We both felt the people's joy as our own. Yet alone, we lacked the strength to protect them. There is so much that I love in this world. Too much for me to take in my arms and keep safe. And that made me afraid. I needed someone who shared that love and fear. So together we could do what we couldn't for ourselves. Or maybe it's simpler than that. Maybe I just wish that we could have been friends. So when she turned to me in her final hour, desperate to safeguard Alexandria's future, I swore I would see it done. In the end, I think you both found the friend you needed. I'll be yours as well, Sven. Whenever you fall or struggle to rise, I'll come running to the rescue. You do the same for me. That's how we'll protect the things we love. That's how we'll protect Alexandria. You're right. You're right. Stay quiet. Right. We got a bit sidetracked there. We should probably be on our way. We patrol or see if Shale needs our men. There you all are. Galulja. Ah, splendid. We were afraid we'd miss you. Elzane and the others said you were here. Good news, Tulky. We finally found a chink in Alex's armor. We discovered laboratories on Everkeep's 10th level that once housed a preservation initiative. Containment Complex 1029, it's called. It has been falsely registered as a distribution center. In reality, it hasn't recorded any traffic in decades. We don't think this is where Calyx is hiding, as such, but may well contain clues that point us to the right direction. I'm sorry it took us so long to get this far. If you're interested, what do you say we all go and check it out together? Thank you all for your hard work. This is a huge step forward. And up! We need to take the lift to get to the complex. I've cleared this expedition with the relevant authorities, and have one of our people waiting to operate said lift. Let's not keep her waiting. Looks like it's dungeon time. That probably means we're gonna have Steen as healer? Because they do trust system with all these, right? I mean, Steen is probably a healer. I'll share the method we used to find the containment complex once we're inside. It wasn't actually all that different to the story how we stumbled across the back room. It sounds like Galulja played a big part in this breakthrough. I'll be sure to treat him with a fine feast once it's all over. Jill made me her assistant. She was teaching me the basics of data management. Preservation laboratories. I shudder to think at what they were researching, but it's no time to be squeamish. An institute on preservation scale would have had so much facilities in the city. Yet I cannot help but wonder if this one is where my parents worked. Oh. Ready to head on up. Next stop, the 10th level. Sure, let's go up. I'm assuming this is a dungeon. It only makes sense to be the dungeon.
So this is one of Preservation's laboratories.
It's so dark I can barely see.
Just a moment. If I can reroute the power to the circuit.
You got the lights working!
But the door's locked.
Smell how stale the air is. This room hasn't been in use for many years.
It was thanks to Kryl and Galulja that we managed to locate this place.
You may remember that my earring contained the control code for the gate to the Golden City. As it was Preservation that constructed the portal, We reasoned that the code to operate it might include a signature of some sort, unique to their organization.
So I took a closer look, and a line-by-line examination yielded a string of symbols identifying the code's author. We then began accessing the nodes for every door in Everkeep, seeking out control codes which contained those same symbols. After a grueling search, we finally discovered our prize behind door number 1860, the entrance to the facility in which we now stand. I'd probably still be at it if Galulja hadn't been around to assist me.
I took breaks, but Shale never stopped working. Not even once.
Oh, color treasure.
I can contribute precious little else, I'm afraid, but I appreciate your kind words. In any case, this next part will require your helping hands.
We need to spread out and search for something that may lead us to Calyx.
We're more than happy to help, of course. But I wonder, won't he realize we've found this place?
It's highly likely, and personally I hope he does.
You all know our main objective. We're here to pick up Calyx's trail. And I've learned of a certain device that should help us do just that. I'll explain how as we proceed. According to the information, I was able to dredge up the device in question should have been installed in the director's office. Now, as far where that might be, yes, this map matches my data. This room we're in is a researcher's common, located in the western side of the complex. The director's office is to the northeast of here. We should cut across the circular chambers in the middle, yes? Yes, we should, but unfortunately for us, the interior door is locked. We'll need a security key with the appropriate clearance to open it. Judging by the mechanism, it'll probably be a card of some kind. Can't you work some electro magic? I'll try my best, but this type of lock is well before my time. It may take a while to crack it. And in case I can't, you might want to look around and see if anyone left a security card behind. Considering the state of the place, it does seem like they abandoned it in some haste. I shouldn't be surprised if we find one. Very well, let's get to searching, shall we? I expect we'll have the most luck looking where the researchers kept their personal belongings. We may begin searching Containment Complex 1029. Close cooperation will be necessary to overcome obstacles barring your path forward. Helpful hints will appear in a different color. Like, pay close attention to the information provided by your comrades. And should you find yourself unable to proceed, half-open desk drawers. This appears to be the only desk with drawers already open. You can tell at a glance that the desk's former owner has left some things behind. You discover a card-shaped object. The electrode surface is marked with a bold level 1. Oh, could that be what we're looking for? Try the door, see if it opens. A scanning device. The card-shaped object you hold looked to be similar size to the scanner panel. You hold the card-shaped object up to the scanner. Well, that was quick. It's open. You did it, Tulky. And a good thing too. I was getting nowhere without outdated circuits. I'm curious though. Why would they abandon a facility like this? It was run by Director Demetrius. Or so that terminal threader told me. Perhaps there are more answers to be had once we venture further inside. Then let's continue onwards. The door to the Director's office is across Central Hub. I guess this isn't the dungeon. I thought it would be. Okay. You hold the level 1 security card up, but the scanner beeps in disapproval. No good. Maybe we need a different card. Yes, the scanner is demanding a level 3 clearance to open a lock. As much as the delay chafes me, we'll have to comb through the nearby rooms and hope we stumble upon the card we need. Let's start our search in the proto lab. The door is already open, at least. We'll find a way through together, Shill. I'm sure of it. The way this room is set up, the canisters inserted into that large device looks to be a soul cell. Could this be where they conduct their experiments to create Endless? But we could probably spend days investigating this complex. Finding a way into the director's office must take precedent. Speaking of which, Guluja mentioned a locker over in the corner that he can open. Perhaps you could take a look. Locker door is shut tight, but the number pad suggests the inputting correct combination will open it. Give it to cover any potential combinations. Perhaps speaking with your comrades will help speed up this investigation. USB research of personal tablets. Today I began my employment at Preservation. The organization was unfamiliar to me, but when the recruitment letter arrived, I had a gut feeling that this work would be far more fulfilling than any orthodox medical practice. My instincts were correct. Master Calix's philosophy is the refined ideal of notions I've only vaguely entertained. That mankind must evolve beyond the shackles of its flesh and body existence. I had a meeting with Director Demetrius today. I've heard others praise his genius intellect, yet he seems to be a guttering candle in comparison to Master Calix's blinding brilliance. This morning, I was permitted to access the top floor and observe the workings of living memory. As predicted, the shortage of aether required to sustain the Endless is reaching critical levels. Yet Queen Sphene insists on continuing her into an effectual wailing. Our Milala colleagues, including the Proto-Lab chief, have been behaving in a decidedly suspicious manner of late. Should I report my concerns to the director? From tomorrow, I have been assigned to assist with a research project in Deuterolab. We're scheduled to conduct a major experiment, the details of which I have been kept ignorant. It would seem prudent to back up my memory data. Oh, that's the end of the journal entries. I dug through the data tablet and found a journal. I'll read it to you. The results of experiment 158 show a marked improvement in aether extraction rates. Alas, we've reached target value set by Master Calix. While we become an Endless, as per our standard protocols, I will preserve the historic number along with our few remaining wardly effects. Preserve the number. Well, we'll try 158. Select number keys. Enter up to 5 digits. You've entered 158. Could this be the right combination? Nope. Please excuse my impatience. The means to track down Calyx are closed, and I'm itching to get my hands on them. This machine feeds into a soul cell. I'm reminded of my imprisonment by the Empire. Surely this device wasn't made to hold people. Maybe you found something? These notes seem to be about the research they did in here. Let's take a look. Experiment 148, submitting interference candidate 201930 to be considered for efficient procedure review. Experiment 158, maximum value of 11509 recorded. Comparative study to be included in report. Right then. One more. Experiment 163, new proposal produced a result of 9834. Decreased value verified. But I have no idea what the other means. Maybe it would make sense later on. Effect was 11509. Right, we'll try that one. 11509. Oh, there you go. Been unlocked. The lock pops open. You discover a level 2 security card. Level 2? That means you have to go to another room. Tulky, you got the locker open. And you found another security card. Oh, but does that say level 2? We needed level 3, didn't we? Yes, but it should still open more doors for us to explore. You did well, Tulky. These preservation members led such surprisingly normal lives. Leaving notes, losing their cards. I guess I imagine they'd be more... what's the word? Bloodless? Mechanical? My parents were once part of preservation, if you recall. It would seem the researchers who agreed with Calyx and his philosophy underwent the conversion to endless entities. I assume those who didn't could not or would not eventually left the organization altogether. Oh, I almost forgot. Researchers kept journals in their data tablets. The one I read doesn't explain much, but something big happened in the complex, and afterwards it was decided that everyone would become endless. The writer was really happy about this. You could tell how much they admired Calyx and his work. The entries ended after that, but maybe you can read more on the other tablet there. Right, let's move up this investigation to another room. Well, we have Deutero Lab and the maintenance facilities left to search. Both are accessed via the southeast corridor. So it's back to the hub and the locked door across the way, which will hopefully yield before our new security card. I'll take the old one if you like. I doubt we'll have any more use for it. Yes, true. We won't. Write the other data tablet already. What does she think they have in this place? If I read that map right, it must be a lot smaller than the Yawata facility. Calyx hasn't bothered to show his face yet. I see. Maybe he hasn't noticed us. Or maybe he's just watching and waiting. The scanner waits. Hold the security card up to the panel and she'll unlock the door. It seems not everyone who joined preservation became endless right away. There must have been research that required physical bodies. There were others beside my parents who left preservation. Where might they be now? Wouldn't they pass away by now? Yes, it opened. Where should we go first? the Dutra labs or facilities. Let's start with the lab. What is it, Guluja? Can the security card open this door as easily as the last one? How strange. The door is not lit up like the others. What does this sign say? Chill, there doesn't seem to be any power here. No, none at all. It's possible the energy supply for this room is on a separate conduit, which means there should be a contingency for opening the door. Look here, there's a sign above the card reader. In case of emergency, backup power can be rerouted from facilities. The facilities room is down the other branch of this corridor. Let's see about getting the power restored to the Turo lab. Shall we? Oh good, the terminal's set up. It means we have power in this room. The Turo lab must have required great amounts of energy to operate. What kind of experiments were they conducting in there? There are some big flashy floor tiles. I wonder what they're for. So this room was managing power supply and utilities. I hope they kept security cards in here as well. But I don't think they will. I'm pretty sure we're gonna have to go through the labs. And then it'll have level 3. Engaging power supply. No good. It's returning an error. There must be a preliminary procedure. According to this error code reference, if the power supply has been interrupted for an extended period of time, then we need to reconfigure both the emergency generator and the circuit control panels. Shale, that's the emergency generator over there, isn't it? Yes, and by the looks of it, it's the same model as the one we use in Heritage Found. But how does it send power to the other labs? Ah, I see. The energy cable attached to the base of this terminal leads down the hall directly to the Turo lab, which means we need a way to connect the generator to that cable. What about these patterns on the floor? Could this be the circuit we need to reconfigure? I believe you have the right of it. Using the control panel set into each of the tiles, we create an unbroken path for the power to follow. What I wouldn't give for an instruction manual. Indeed, if you could look around for any written procedures, I'll keep digging through the terminal's directories. Might I also ask someone to operate the generator? I can do it. I've used that type of machine before. Then would you be willing to try and reconfigure the circuit path, Tulky? The rest of us can help by supplying Tulky with whatever information might be found on the circuitry and configuration. Oh boy. So this needs to go here. Means we move it up here. So go path up here. Path to here. Well, how do you get to that? Arm. These appear to be data logs from a former age. My scholarly interest is piqued by a few of the labels, but not relevant to the task at hand. Also, I had no luck locating more security cards. We shall have to rely upon our backup power strategy, I'm afraid. Let's look at what this is. You must arrange your 4 power tines in correct positions, access the control panels, configure circuitry. Oh. What? Oh. 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 That's how that works. I see. If that's the case, this needs to be square. It needs to be fully connected? What's a diamond? Red circle? Oh, this clearly doesn't work. I was able to glimpse a part of warning signs behind the container. What I could make out, caution circle will not function with duplicate patterns. Oh. Well. Okay. There you go. You have connected all the circuits. Inform your comrades of your successful configuration. Oh, that's not fair. I didn't know you couldn't duplicate those patterns. It worked. We did it, Tulky. The Deturo lab should now be fully powered. Well done, everyone. If I may, Shale, could we access a certain data log before moving on? I was checking the storage shelves, and one of the labels caught my eye. Preservation, the Early Days is the title. Of course, only take a moment to bring up the contents. Ah, it looks like to be a text-based account. I'll read it out. Preservation, an Alexandrian Institute for Technological Development, was founded by Calyx, an 11-year-old child prodigy. Approval for establishing the organization came during Alexandria's involvement in the Storm Surge. With Calyx's design for a new defensive solution funded in a large part by the Treasury. As the conflict grew in intensity and casualties mounted, Calyx funneled Preservation's resources towards perfection of memory storage. Research into this field continued even after the Storm Surge came to an end, with Calyx eventually electing to preserve his own memories in the virtual domain. This account is from before he embraced his endless existence. Oh. My OBS crashed. But hello, Moose. If you're still here. My OBS crashed. Oh, nice. So this account is from before he embraced his endless existence, hundreds of years ago. I met him only once, before the Storm Surge began. I was attending my father, who was then the reigning king of Alexandria. Calyx could not have been more than 10 years of age. It required constant treatment for his debilitating illness. Yet still, he published theories so highly regarded that even the royal family was aware of his achievements. Thank you. My OBS just randomly crashed. Not very nice. I hope you've been doing well, Moose. Life should not be lost in the injustice of death. Even now, I can hear the single-minded will behind his words. So it was that when war came to our country. My father was quick to commit his unwavering support to the somber youth in his proposals for preservation. Several years later, the ensuing violence brought the death of both my parents. Overwhelmed as I was by my sudden succession to the throne, I suspect they spared me the report on endless research and other less urgent matters. They had no way of knowing what kind of person Calyx was changing into. Did he change? I wonder. Perhaps he has ever been the type to value ideals or compassion, and I failed to see it at the time. Or perhaps he did change, but is still driven by those same deeply held beliefs. That mortality is cruel and unjust, and his role is to deliver mankind from this fate. Whatever the case may be, we cannot allow him to shape our future. Let's press on, shall we? If I've done my job correctly, the door to the Turo lab should be accessible now. I'll give everything a once over, just to be sure. Oh, the ever fight of mortality. We as humans try our best to avoid it, but it's an inevitability. And if you live on by killing others, are you still not? Are you still not in the cycle of mortality? That's what an endless is, right? They only stay alive by killing others and taking their ether, which is basically their life force. No matter what, something needs to die. How is that any better? Had his own body not been fated to fail him so young, would Calyx have pursued his endless project with such fervor? Everything we read in this place sings Calyx's praises. The people who worked here must have truly idolized him. That Alexandria survived the war was in no small part thanks to the defensive measures developed by preservation. In that regard, I shall always be thankful. Yes, the door has power now. The energy current seems stable enough. Still, you should let me handle this one. The security card, if you please. On a quick prayer that a shorted wire doesn't burn me from the inside out. I would hope you don't die. Right, I'll get this door open. Oh, looks like you didn't get shorted. Phew, smooth as silk. Let's head inside and see what awaits. Surely one of these are voiced, right? I'm getting tired of reading. Oh my goodness, it's not. What's above, isn't that? Isn't that the key? The key to interdimensional fusion. That looks to be a schematic on a monitor. And they've used it to make another key. But isn't it missing the shard inside, like the one Tulky has? Ah, we may have been laboring under a misconception. The key was originally a Malala relic. Once this treasure came to its possession, preservation began working to harness the power to cross dimensions. Aside from the crystal, we can see that all the vessel's components were constructed here. So what might that tell us? The crystal itself is a key? That would be a logical conclusion, yes. It is as if my parents explained. The key remained shrouded in mystery. Preservation augmented it with electrope, but never grasped technology's underlying principles. To this day, not a single person understands the mechanics of interdimensional fusion, and not who imbued the key with its power, not when they did so, nor why. Now it makes sense. Calyx can track the key because its vessel was made by preservation. I believe there's much we may learn in this room. On our next visit, I will have to enlist Yisholo's assistance for a thorough investigation. I am too curious about a great many things, but pinning down Calyx's whereabouts is our priority. Hopefully there's a security card here that grants access to the director's office. The research conducted in this lab appeared to have been highly confidential in nature. Some of the personnel must have belonged to the organization's upper echelon, and that means higher security clearance. We should spread out and look for any cards they left behind. Remember, anything less than 3 is no good to us. Let's look at a cabinet drawer. Surely there's something in here. You find a security card in cabinet drawer. Oh, did you find a security card? Well, that's a stroke of luck. Let's have Shill examine it to be sure. Well, that's level 3. Oh well, if it isn't exactly what we needed. Nice work, Tulky. Oh, a level 3. That should get us into the director's office. So what was it you were hoping to find in there again, Shill? You were saying that a certain device was going to help us. Right, I haven't properly explained myself, have I? I'm looking for a data relay. After we discovered this ostensibly abandoned complex, I performed a cursory investigation which detected a connection to an outside network. When I traced the data's routing, I confirmed traffic from a web of Everkeep's security cameras. Considering the way Calyx is always one step ahead of us, I must assume he quietly seized control of the city's surveillance system, and has been using it to monitor our activities. To monitor what you, as a key holder, are planning. But since Calyx is the ultimate recipient of those transmissions, the flow of data is like a river that we can follow back to him. Which is why I needed a data relay. If I can analyze the device and see where it's rerouting all this security traffic, surveillance traffic, then you can pinpoint Calyx's position. That said, he has done nothing to impede our progress, which makes me think I might be on an entirely wrong track. Maybe the reason he's stopping us is because he can't. Back in the old castle, Calyx said he was measuring Tulky's strength. What can he possibly dream up that's stronger than her? Oh, speaking of cameras, there was another thing I meant to mention. I found evidence that someone deliberately disabled surveillance feed in this room. The most recent recording was also crudely deleted. I was able to restore the data, though, if you'd like to see it. I'll start to show them.
Are you really planning to leave?
Yes. The idea of eternal life. It's begun to frighten me.
I struggle to renounce our conventional wisdom. Death is the means by which life prunes its branches, leaving the trunk to grow strong and tall. We die so that our species may flourish. What would become of mankind were we to halt that process? If unending stagnation is the fruit of our labor, then perhaps we strive for the wrong thing.
Your argument is a rejection of Master Calyx's vision.
I suppose it is. Perhaps such dread would not plague me, were I capable of sharing his perspective on the subject.
But I cannot. He and I are too different, in too many ways. I lack his extraordinary genius. I had no illness threatening to cut my life short, no singularity of will to cut away all distractions and focus solely upon research.
I have nothing but respect for his determination. The way he overcame his prognosis and seized the means to transcend death itself.
I have a feeling she's gonna get killed.
But
That researcher.
I'm not convinced that this obsession with living is the right path. That's why I've decided to leave preservation and put all my effort towards building a legacy for the next generation to come. Surely you...
Can't say I'm surprised.
You understand. There can be no exceptions.
Yeah, I can't say I'm surprised by the outcome. She only wanted to leave, and he executed. I checked the images against personnel data, and the man who pulled the trigger was Director Demetrius himself. Everything I could find on him pointed to a deep infatuation with Master Calyx. The cameras in this room have been out of operation ever since that incident. Given that the recording was erased, I can only assume he was trying to conceal his grisly deed from other researchers. I'm not surprised, given how my parents described their defection from the incident. They spoke of rushing me through a portal, even as Preservation's agents closed in on them. I dare not ask what became of them after that, but if it turns out they were captured by the pursuers. They did not regret their actions. Right, Echo. Knowing you saw them as they were, your words give me great comfort. Oh, Crow. Worry not, Sphene. Thanks to the Haven of Living Memory, I was at least able to meet my parents and learn what they stood for. It is enough for me to carry on. Even now, we don't know how the conflict unfolded between your parents and Preservation. What we do know is that your mother and father cleverly expunged every last trace of their movements. They made sure no one could cross into the source or threaten their child's safety. Right. Let's press on, shall we? This tale behind the key deserves a fitting conclusion. To the director's office. Oh yeah, yeah, that shooting was kinda one of the most obvious things I've seen. Was Calyx the one who ordered to execute defectors? The more we learn about him, the less I understand. I don't expect to find any information on my parents in this next room either, and that's something I can be proud of. My earlier investigations put the data relay just past this door. Let's get to opening it, shall we? If the man in the recording was Director Demetrius, then this must be his office. Hearing Crowell talk about her parents reminded me of how much I miss Namika. I guess I'll never really get over it. Oh, let's see what's behind door number 3. There we go. Let's head inside. Now to find that data relay. And don't be shy, everyone. Speak up if anything odd catches your eye. Tulky, come with me. I might have need of that security card. This is a report on reducing people to Aether, and how much energy can be harnessed per individual. Wow. Oh, my apologies. I was thinking about the key. Something's odd. Something odd. Huh? This director, Demetrius, was very particular about how he decorated his office. We've got incense and vases and some kind of gem display. Damn, this terminal isn't connected to any outside networks, so it can't be the data relay I'm looking for. This office is also smaller than the map suggested. I'm positive we're in the right room. What am I missing? Sorry, Tulky, could I ask you and the others to search the office for any clues to this infuriating puzzle? In the storage case. A collection of soul cells may have once belonged to the director. They appear to be empty. You find crumpled notes wedged between the file binders. Security room lift access. Requires password to be input simultaneously at the terminals in Protolab, the Turolab, and the director's office. Perhaps the discovery will be of interest to Shale. Having lain dormant for years, the now active coffee maker has already entered a self-cleaning cycle. It appears to have no other purpose beyond brewing coffee. It remains to have seen when it will be able to do so once more. A forever dead coffee machine. Amongst other personal effects, you find what presumably the director's data tablets. A closed locker stand next to the table. Let's search the locker first. The locker door swings open easily. Oh my. It contains nothing of note. You quietly shut the locker door. Well, moving on, and we're going to examine the data tablet. You pick up the data tablet and begin skimming through the contents. Shutdown protocols. All personnel have undergone processing. Once the shutdown protocols have been completed, I will proceed with my own corporeal dissolution. As long as the key remains in the physical world, we must keep this complex in pristine condition, whether it be needed for experiments or otherwise. It must be ready to support future operations in whatever capacity Master Calyx requires. To that end, facility equipment will be maintained in stasis mode. Furthermore, a critical component for the secure room access will be stored separately to defend against unauthorized entry. We'll look at daily reports. Nothing of note. The mystery of the key's activation condition remains unresolved. The key triggered an explosion today. Temporary interdimensional portal verified. Continue attempts to stabilize the core's energy reactions. 13 researchers sustained fatal injuries in the explosion. Memory faculties of 4 personnel sufficiently intact for endless conversion. Remaining 9 designated for Aether reclamation processing. Nothing of note, rejected resignation of 2 Milalo researchers. That's probably Carl's parents. Major incident. Details in full report. Those 2 inept Milala broke the preservation and absconded with the key. Though the fugitives have since been caught and eliminated, we were too late to recover the relic. The only reason we retained our flesh was to serve Master Calyx as physical instruments to conduct his experiments. Deprived of the object of our research, our existence serves no further purpose. I dare not imagine the depth of his disappointment in me. The complex is to be shut down, all personnel will have their bodies reduced to aether, which will be allocated for future experimentation. Memory data will be archived. Any endless conversions will be subject to Master Calyx's discretion. If he does not deem us fit, then we are not deserving of eternal life. Something strange about this wall. I could have sworn it flickered for a moment. Seems solid enough now. Have you found something? Thank you. A misplaced note, was it? Well, it's confirmed that Carl's parents were killed after she was taken to our world. With instructions for accessing a secure room, no less. Seems we need to enter a password on 3 different terminals at the same time. There's no such room marked on the map, was there? No. A precautionary measure, no doubt. And if passwords are involved, I expect the access lift itself is concealed too. Sealed? By electrope, you mean? Ah, could it be that wall? I thought it seemed odd when I walked past. Remember what Kafkia used to say, Shale. Never trust an electrope surface. You can pass right through. Really? I've never been that property in my time. Tulky's having a little fun, I think. What I mean is electrope can project a false appearance. Oh, that face. In which case, it shouldn't be too hard to disable. Another door. I managed to deactivate the projection, but the lock is another story. In the note, lay out the password protocol. Say we go ahead and try it. Agree. 2 people should prepare the lab terminals for input, while the rest of us look for passwords here in the office. I'll take the proto lab. And I'll take the Deutero lab. Actually, it might be better if you stayed, Sven. Your knowledge of Alexandria and its people could be needed here. Yes, you're right. If the passwords are hiding behind clues, that might be something I can help with. I can help too. I've lived my whole life in Alexandria, after all. I will take the Turo Lab 2D then. We can keep in touch via communicator to match our timing. Okay, you shall have the honor of entering the office password. Once we've determined what we need to input, take your place at this terminal and I'll stand by to guide Clement and Krell through the process. You know, there was that display plate over there. One with gems. I thought since it was made of electrope, it might have some other purpose. I couldn't find any switches or buttons to make it do anything. Maybe you can figure it out. Oh, it's missing a gem, first off. Two jewels are embedded in this electrope plate. You identify the blue gem as sapphire, the red gem as garnet. There also appears to be an empty slot for another jewel to fit. Does the locker have anything? Oh, right. It just has this creepy ass photo. Yeah. So it doesn't have a gem or anything. God, that's so unsettling. I should take a close look at these reports. One of them might have a hint. I kept searching the drawers with books and found a cube puzzle made of electro. Probably a toy, but maybe. Solve the puzzle. Got it. Let's see, if I move this bit and then connect the circuit, that one, there. Ah, there's something inside. Oh, it's a pretty green stone. Might be Alexandrite. They say these gems were so treasured in the past that they named the kingdom after them. Here, you should hold on to this one just in case. Oh, looks like we found our missing jewel. But the jewel. The gemstones fit snugly into place. Almost immediately afterwards, the glowing lines of a diagram appear on the display, accompanied by a short phrase. An arcane circuit. You consider the display before you. On second thought, perhaps the shapes are too simple for an electrode circuit. What plan is complex? As you continue studying the display, you realize that these shapes correspond to the rooms of the complex in which you now stand. This may be related to the password you're looking for. The glowing words appear to be handwritten. Yes, I knew that jewel will come in handy. Let me see. Eat the stones. This must be about the special meaning Alexandrians have for the gem. It's an old belief, I think, where each type of gem means something different. I bet if you ask Sphene, she could tell you more about it. After all, even her name comes from a gemstone. Oh, Sphene, we need you. Yes, if you have a question, you need only ask. The symbolism of Alexandrite. Well, I was taught that Alexandrite represents a concept of protection. It is incidentally also the origin of Alexandria's name. Oh, are you thinking that's something to do with the passwords? A sapphire and a garnet as well, you say? Yes, they all have meanings. Alexandrite is, as I said, is protection. Sapphire represents honesty, and garnet symbolizes devotion. You can try these words at the terminal and see if they're accepted. I certainly hope we're right. Oh, I guess we can try. We're all set to go here. Volklamat and Kral waiting on the prow. Let's start Volklamat in the proto lab. What should she enter? Oh my gosh. Hold on. I don't remember all this. Sapphire is a proto lab. Alexandrite is the director's office. Garnet is the Turo lab. So Sapphire is Volklamat. So Sapphire is honesty. And the password for Kral in the Turo lab is devotion. And for us, it's protection. Right, we have all 3 passwords ready. Oh, I didn't read the last part. And now to enter into the system at the same time. Yes. Well, I'm so glad that worked. That secure room is the only place we've yet to search. If the data relay is anywhere, it has been there. We'll venture in as soon as Volklamat and Kral rejoin us. Gosh, that was a puzzle and a half. We did it. Thanks to you and a little bit thanks to me, I hope. Great work, Tulky. Leaving it to you to define passwords from an ornamental display. Speaking of gemstone symbology, For Alexandrians, Sphene holds the meaning of eternal light. When my parents named me, it was with their wish that I become an unwavering beacon of hope for our people. To think on it now, I have ever shared that destiny with my other self. Well, that went well. Excellent clue finding, Tulky. Alright, everyone. Time to board the lift and see what awaits us.
This terminal doesn't look special to me, but this is definitely what we're after?
Finally a break.
It is, but whether or not it will suffice for our purposes is another question.
It's just a laptop. That controls everything, apparently.
The Endless are created using the memories of the deceased. But as memories are, in essence, collections of data, the resultant entities have no physical form. These data entities, as we might call them, have only two methods for interacting with the material world. One of these we saw in Living Memory, where the Endless are granted temporary bodies through the use of corporeal ether. They become much like solid ghosts that one can see and touch. The other method, which Kafkiwa employed, is the remote operation of a machine. But where do you suppose the Endless are to be found when not inhabiting a physical body? The Endless are memories, and if memories are data, then...
In a world formed of data.
Yes, we suspect they reside in a virtual domain, one contained entirely within an electrope-based machine. We've seen such a realm before, after all.
Oh, you mean like the Alexandria made from the Endless Fiend's memories? It all seems so real.
So this virtual domain, it would also be housed within the Meso terminal.
But how? I thought we shut down all the terminals in Living Memory.
You did. And Kafkiwa's program performed just as she intended. The Meso terminal itself was deactivated, as evidenced by the failure of the device which was keeping Sphene's body in stasis. Be that as it may, we face a master of electrope engineering. That he managed to partition and protect the sector harboring his own memories is well within the bounds of possibility.
Let us say that the Meso terminal does indeed contain a second domain, and that Calyx himself resides there. This city, on the other hand, exists here in the source. That being the case, I thought perhaps we could prevent his remote interference by closing the gate to the Golden City, and thus severing the connection between worlds.
Except I tried to close it once already when I visited Living Memory. The process required administrative authorization, a restriction I assumed at the time had been imposed by the Queen.
But now you think Calyx might be responsible.
For sure we know it's Calyx.
Just as I suspected. Even now, security transmissions from throughout the Keep are being tapped by the core system and routed elsewhere. Almost every single one has you as its focus. He's keeping track of the keyholder's movements.
time's up, and what a waste of time it's been. Hoping to find me by tracing security data? That will not be necessary. Through a not inconsiderable effort, I've taken your measure and prepared a force sufficient to subdue you. Come. I invite you to the upper reaches of the Meso terminal. The storage device which holds my memories is there. Break the memory bank and victory is yours. I, in turn, will seek to wrest the key from you with any and every means at my disposal.
And if we refuse this invitation?
I will wait and continue to convert Alexandrians into Endless. Consider the urgency of the situation and make the wiser choice.
Answer me one question, Calyx. The Endless Fiend. When she was queen, you had her face an impossible task, then manipulated her into using the key when she was at her most desperate. If you can do all that, then why not whisk it away when her plans went to ruin? Why let it fall into our hands?
You pour salt in the wound. That disaster was a miscalculation on my part. As her end drew near, Sphene and her restructured memories had become one with the terminal's control systems. In that singular place, in that singular moment, she wielded an authority greater than mine. Thus she was able to shield you, the neighboring sovereign to whom she entrusted her nation's future, and the hero to whom she entrusted that priceless key. I am unsure to what degree she perceived my presence, but she knew that someone was watching. Does that satisfy your curiosity?
It does. And I'm satisfied that you will take nothing more from this nation. Not one more life, not one more future, not one single smile from another child's face. You hear me? Sorry for losing my temper, but there's only one way we can deal with people like Calyx. Whatever grand future he envisions, someone will be made to pay the price. And I won't let that happen.
He's wrong if he thinks he's taking our measure.
If I may, I realize it is not my place to say this. Even so, I must thank you both. On behalf of my other self, allow me to say how grateful I am to have you as our champions.
Well, that was an adventure. It may not have been the method Shale was hoping for, but at least now we know where to find Calyx, and what we need to do now. Indeed, while I remain curious about preservation's research into the key, that's an investigation for today. Then let's head straight to the back room. We should get everyone on the same page before we make our move. Shayla has been out of sorts ever since we got back. I don't think she liked what Calyx said. Don't worry, I'll do my best to cheer her up. It was my other self who entrusted you with the key. Though she could not change who she was, the consequences of her final choice lingered, empowering us to shape our own future. I pass on a short version of events to our comrades, so that we can all prepare for the challenges ahead. Time to put an end to this. Calyx won't stop until we stop them. The situation isn't the best out there, but at least you've come back to us safe and sound. Damn that bastard Calyx. He waited until I was this close before snatching away my moment of triumph. In that infuriating, condescending way he spoke to us. We'll see whose time is up, you smug little weasel. Hell. Anyway, I know things didn't go to plan, but we learned a great deal about preservation. The knowledge could come in handy in the days to come. Though I may not be able to contribute much to a direct confrontation, I mean to see this through with you all, providing whatever support I can. One of our own. Tulky, we briefed Aaronville on everything that has happened and sent word to the others. We've now about to consider what our next actions will be. Calyx has offered you the opportunity to confront him directly. And though it feels much like striding face first into an ambush, we have little choice. If we are to destroy the memories he supposedly has stored in the upper reaches of MSQ Terminal, then that is where we must go. While I'm still upset at being deprived of my moment, I nevertheless did my due diligence. I confirmed that the relay we found was indeed transmitting surveillance data to the device somewhere in living memory. When you go to fight Calyx, pray let me fight alongside you. Let me fight for the memory of Otis and Selenia, and for the other fiend I may have become. But most importantly, for my beloved kingdom and a joyful tomorrow. It has been your fight as much as ours, if not more. Thank you for understanding what this means to me. I'll be coming with you as well. You know my reason. It hardly needs saying, but your fellow Scions also have every intention of accompanying you into battle. So adamant for Alizé and the others on this point that they have already left for living memory. I am more than ready to do the same. I'll keep patrolling the streets for sign of trouble, especially from anyone wearing neo-regulators. If you need anything from me, I'll be on standby here in the back room. I really want to go with you too, but I know I can't. I know that sometimes you have to be patient and trust in your friends. Oh, Tulky. Carl and I think we should talk to Gosen before we leave for living memory. Under Calyx's direction, preservation has helped shape Alexandria's society for centuries. Taking him down will have serious consequences, and we need to warn officials in charge about what we intend. Justifications aside, we shall be acting against the wishes of all who desire to become endless. The Exactly. We don't know if Ghost Sun will approve or oppose our chosen course. Either way, leaving without a word is the wrong thing to do. Come, we should be on our way. Resolution first, yes? Be safe, everyone. We'll see you when it's over. I unfortunately think I need to stop here though. I'm getting tired. It's also get close to midnight, so probably a good time to stop. I did not expect this batch cycle to be so long, first off, so we'll have to pick it up from after that. Oh yeah, I'll probably be continuing this sometime close in the future. We'll continue 7.3 and hopefully go to 7.4. Anywho, I thank you for all for watching and hope you have a good rest of your day or night, wherever you are. And take care. Bye bye.